What's up, everyone? My name is Shavon. I'm 26 years young, and I'm a transgender, so this is my story. I remember probably come about around the time when I was 5 years old. My mom would take me out, shopping for clothes, and she'd take me over to the little girl section. I'd just look at the clothes, and I'm just like, ugh, no, that's not for me. Bright pink colors didn't catch my eye. The flowers, it just, the way that my mind was thinking at that age, it didn't really take effect for me. I mean, when I go over to the little boys' clothes, the fact that the colors were different and the styles were different. I mean, even down to the fittings, I didn't like wearing girl pants that were extremely tight because I felt like I couldn't breathe. And then you have the underwear that just were so skinny and it just kind of felt like they were riding me. And next you know, you have the boy, little brief underwear because I didn't have boxers, back then, that they were like a nice, snug, tight filling, and it felt better on my body having with those loose-fitting jeans compared to the tight jeans, or the shirts that weren't completely skin tight and they were more loose so I could move around more and get dirty. And I mean, if I rolled around in the mud when I was a little kid, you didn't want that weird feeling on you with those bright colors. So around the childhood stage, at that age, it was just the part where you're kind of like, you're veering off of what you're adapting to. It was completely different. It wasn't the same as, a little girl's gonna go in and she wants a puppy on her shirt and she feels excited for it. I saw more of a car design and I'm like, right on, it's thrilling, it's more extreme, and that's where the mindset was for me when I was young. And my mom she couldn't get me into the girl stuff at all. I mean, she'd even take me out shopping to buy toys, and my sister's going down the aisles looking at the Barbies, and she wants to figure out how she's going to, build her play toy set with, the beds and everything, and that just didn't grab my attention. I wanted to go over into the boys' aisles and look at the toy guns and the Hot Wheels, or the Legos, the stuff I could build, and the Connect type things, and I mean, Lincoln Logs. Those things were awesome. It's not something that, as you say, a normal girl would actually get into. It was more as a guy thing, since, we segregate both of those worlds. And me being born in a girl's body, I couldn't adapt to the girl likings. I just liked doing all the boy things. I mean, I remember when, I'd go to school and, you're just meeting your first classmates and stuff, and I couldn't connect with the girls. I was actually shy meeting the girls because I actually thought they were attractive. I could see myself having a crush or possibly kissing them. But, at that age, you don't know what is normal. You don't know what is right, because you're just now growing into the person that you're going to be for the rest of your life. And then, I'd always want to go out with the guys and talk about girls, or go to each other's houses and spend the night, and we would take the dad's porno mags and look at them. And, I started noticing when that came about that, even when a little boy would pee, he'd whip it out and go, and I'm looking and I'm just like, I don't have one of those. That's not fair, So it was hard because I like all the things that the boys do, but I'm not fully equipped with, what boys were born with. And it was very confusing to me at first, and, I didn't know how to adapt to it, and it kind of was like aggravating, just for the fact that you kind of get this urge that you want to be like them, but you're just comfortable being able to hang out with them because that's just who you are. It's not like I just wake up one day and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a guy. It was just a transitioning into it, you know, from that early start, you know, from that early age. And I remember we'd always go out and play with the toy guns, and you know, we'd get dirty, and I enjoyed things like that. I'd always bite on my fingernails. I've been biting on them since I was little, you know. And I remember my mom, she told me, she was like, well, you need to go over to the girls' slumber party, because I was invited, you know. Because, I mean, the young girls, they still saw me as a girl, but you know, I didn't want to do the things that they did. But I went over to the slumber party, and they're playing with arts and crafts, and they're talking about, you know, vet stuff and cute animals, and they're looking up these magazines that were you know, NSYNC or something. I don't know which they would be back then, but they were like pictures of famous boys, and they're talking about how cute they are, and I'm just like, oh wow, I want to vomit. Like, it wasn't appealing to me, you know. So I'd sit in the corner, and I got to observe girls. I got to see how they interact, or how they, you know, were in their lifestyle. And it was not appealing to me. I was always wanting to play with Legos or show off. And I mean, I think the only fun part that I had was that they were doing cartwheels, because it's being outside and getting to do something, or playing tag. But I couldn't come down to playing with the nails or doing the hair or dressing up. It wasn't comfortable for me. I didn't like it. And I remember, as you know, time keeps going through all the years, I just couldn't understand, like, why am I stuck in this, but I think like this? Why am I designed in this body that, you know, is supposed to be a girl, but I can't do the girl things, and I'm doing the guy things? So my mom took me shopping one time, and I went into the dressing room with all, you know, boy clothes, and when I come out to show my mom what I'm wearing, one of the younger girls goes, Mom, there's a boy in there. And then that's when my mom knew that, you know, she didn't want to be basically like the bad mom or whatnot. I mean, because it wasn't normal at that time. So then she was like, okay, this is when I know I need to kind of have you start dressing like a girl, but you'll get to pick what you want, but it's going to be a selected. Just, you won't get to do the whole boy thing anymore. And so she took me to the girls' side, and I'm depressed. I'm sad because it's nothing that I want to wear. I mean, I'm being forced to wear something that just isn't me, you know. And I noticed that there was a big problem when it came down to it. I'd go to school, and girls were like, oh, you're starting to dress like a girl. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So in my transitioning, I got very depressed. And school was not important to me anymore. Drawing was my outlet of anger. You know, take me away from who I was. You know, I was used to wearing skater shoes and boy pants and little brief underwears and, you know, the boy shirts. And remind you, I'm still having long hair, which I've always wanted to cut off even at this age, but my mom would have killed me if I did. So I was respectful of my mom about it. And next you know is time is just going. I mean, I'm 12 years old by now, and I'm still, my whole time I've always had my hair in a ponytail, and I had these like weird bangs that came down, and I barely ever washed my hair because I was hoping that maybe some mere thing, the hair is gonna have to get cut off. It's gonna have to somewhere. And I didn't. I just had greasy hair, and it was always slicked back. But yeah, about that time, 13, in between there, I'm dressing like a girl. But I mean, it's like, you know, the tight bell bottoms and a weird, just regular shirt. But it's a girl shirt. It's tighter. And then next, you know, my mom's like, maybe you need to do a training bra. I'm like, what the hell is a training bra? So then I'm wearing this line that's just, it's like cutting into me, and I feel like I'm being like, it's almost like a claustrophobic feeling, inside, and I didn't like it at all, and I was getting more depressed about all these things that were changing that it just didn't make me feel like I was me anymore. I was unhappy. You know, my grades were slipping, I wasn't focusing in school. You know, no one really knew what to do with me because they didn't understand what I was going through. And my best friend died when I was 13. And we had a big falling out. And she was the closest person to me. And she knew about, you know, me basically. Just didn't really say much. But she was a tomboy. And I was more than a tomboy. You know, it was kind of like we were like a brother and sister thing. And when she passed on, we moved. And my mom then, like, put us in this apartment. I remember my sister's best friend becoming my best friend, and next you know, they're wanting to dress me up in girl clothes and put makeup on me, and it was too much, you know, and I didn't like the whole makeup thing. It was almost like me being a boy but putting makeup on and just looking at myself. Like, if you can imagine you being a guy and you putting makeup on, just that feeling when you look in the mirror, it's awkward, it's not fun. And I had to go numb with that. I had to be a numb person feeling that and wearing that daily. Wearing that to make guys happy that I'm not even attracted to, you know? Don't find any interest whatsoever except as one of my best friends. And now my hair is long and I'm having to cut my hair into different layers and dye it, and now I'm wearing actual water bras. I didn't have boobs. It's been the same size. They maybe have gone like a little bit smaller, but not by mere much. I mean, a water bra was what I wore. And I'm wearing just regular tank tops, you know, and girl jeans, and next you know I'm being told to wear dresses and skirts and platforms and shave my legs and my armpits, and I always had bad chafing with the armpits because when the hair grew in, it's like, I don't know what it is, it's like an adaptation to my body. So when I would shave, they would blister and just rub, and it was an uncomfortable feeling, but every girl would shave, you know, and I didn't like it at all. And so between, you know, these years of 13 all the way up to 17, I'm having to look like a girl. And I guess the other side of being transgender is, it was good that I felt popular, I felt liked, you know, from all the years that, I mean, growing up, I was a tomboy, you know, I had this whole dress look, as they call it, but I knew myself as a boy, but, you know, they call it tomboy. And, you know, I'm now being noticed. And I think that was the only thing that kept me happy dressing like a girl, was that everyone to hang out with me, because I'm just social like that. And then next day I'm going to parties and everything else, and I started going numb again. I started just knowing that this is not what I want. Every time I saw a guy or something, I didn't have an attraction. I didn't want it. And I wanted to look more like them. So by the time that I turned 18 was the day that I went out and I cut my hair. I cut all of it off. I remember my barber saying, "Shavon, you know you don't want to cut your hair. That you have such beautiful hair." And I'm like, "Cut it off. I'm paying for you to cut it off. Just cut it off." So she spiked it and molded it in the front, because I tried to keep it a little, you know, somewhat girly. But it was the freedom of it. Like, it was a transformation of just seeing, like, the short hair and knowing that I'm getting one step closer to who I feel comfortable being. And I did. It was great. And next you know, I'm kind of, I guess as you would say, your goth stage, whatever, but I mean, I've always liked metal and punk and all that type of music. I grew up listening to Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails, you know, White Zombie back then. It wasn't Rob Zombie. And just that feeling of having those loose clothes again was awesome. I went from a complete different crowd, from the actual popularity crowd to the no crowd anymore. And I got to gain what I was back. And as time kept going, from, you know, my hair being cut off and hitting all the way up to 21, that's when I'm wearing, you know, Dickies and my skater shoes again, and just tank tops and my hair's short, no makeup whatsoever. You know, I don't have to worry about any of that. I'm not shaving my armpits, I'm not shaving my legs. I'm starting to feel who I really was. And then that's when my personality came out. That's when I can actually be who I wanted to be, you know, and it just went all smooth sailing from there. And next you know, all the way up from that age of 21, from knowing that this is who I want to be, I'm going to the gym and I'm staying healthy and I'm seeing the results that I want from, you know, natural workout, just natural building of my own body. It's just amazing. Okay, this is gonna be a weird way of saying this, but what is gender? I mean, you got a man and a woman, correct? I mean, that's what we define as gender in this world. Am I right? So how do we not know that's just like the marketing of it? Because when you die, it's your soul that leaves your body. It's not a soul with a flying penis or a vagina hanging down. It's you know, as they say, a glowing light, from what I know. So I kind of think gender is almost like a marketing scheme. Because, I mean, how do we go from gender from being like guy clothes or girl clothes? Shouldn't it just be clothes all together? So I don't think I can really believe in the whole gender thing. I think we are people and we have a soul, and how we use it, we're just kind of formed into a body that was given to us here for this mere small time on earth. That's what I think of it. I think beauty comes in different forms because everyone has a different personality. You have people that, you know, look at different parts of your body as beautiful. You know, not everyone's going to be the same. I mean, I can even go up to someone and just the way that they interact with someone else, I could find it beautiful. You know, I could even say being tall is beautiful. I don't know, beauty, it kind of comes within the lines of how you feel as a person. I mean, I don't find myself beautiful. I find myself handsome, you know, due to the fact that I work out hard to keep the mental image of what I want for myself to make me feel attractive. I guess you could say to make me feel beautiful, but I'm gonna put it as handsome. But to anyone else, I mean, I know a lot of people who are even overweight and they feel completely comfortable in their skin and they're beautiful. Or when they look at someone else, you know, someone might even be missing a limb, but it's a form of beauty to them. So I don't know, beauty can range from different points of views. It's kind of like how you want to look at beautiful. I mean, someone could say there's a gap in between your teeth and that would be beautiful to them, but it wouldn't be beautiful in my eyes. It would just be kind of weird. But I think beauty goes from however angle you look at it. That is a really good question. Cause I've been in and out of relationships for quite some time. I mean, I even have lips to prove not to ever go get that mark done. But love is uncontrollable. Love is unpredictable. Love has its own crazy spurts. Love ranges in so many different motions. I mean, you could love someone so much but have so many issues with them. They could cheat on you, they could do whatever they want. But because of that spark, that feeling that you feel with them, that just, you love them for their flaws, you love them for the good qualities, you love them for their traits. You can even look at them and love them because they're yelling at you and you just love them. You know? Cheating. I mean, my ex used to cheat on me all the time and I still stayed with it because I felt just being able to show her love, that maybe she'll change. Maybe she'll be a better person. I mean, there's different ways and forms of love. I mean, I can love my mom, you know, in a different way that I would love my significant other. You know, I can love a best friend than I would even love any of those other two. But it's uncontrollable. And you know when it hits you, because you will do the most stupidest things for love. That's how you know. I mean, you would climb through a window and hide in a closet and run from the parents and live in a car with 2 cats or dogs for 6 months just because you want to be next to that person. So just always remember when you look at love that there's no boundaries. There's no limits, because you'll go above and beyond for love, because it's that fiery feeling. It's like getting to the top of a roller coaster, and that second you just look down, you're like, oh shit, and you just fall, and that suction that comes into you, and the emotions that overwhelm you because they're either good or they're bad, but they're still good, and they're crazy, and they're up and they're down. It all just forms into one, and it's like the highest feeling you can ever get. That's what I think when I think about love. When I think of a person, it's like your skin, your flesh. How it evolves, how it grows, how it changes and forms. I mean, if you look at all your pictures, like you as a person, you as a baby, it's like taking steps into growing into who you are. Now, if you're a person carries it, you carry like your characteristics, but you have to grow up in order to obtain those characteristics and form them, because for me it's going to be different from someone else. Like me growing up, I knew that I was into sports, and by doing that, now being an adult, you know, and building myself as a person, I enjoy going out and doing active outdoor things. Or someone else could be someone that likes to be completely sheltered in and write a book or do stuff that's, you know, all about writing or reading. So they develop more of a sense of communication with other people intellectually than I would, because I'd be more of that outgoing, adventurous type person that creates a different person. So I guess, yeah, you could look at a person as building your characteristics, your personality, you know, and everyone has different ones. But for me, it built me to be strong, because I go to the gym and I dedicate myself to that, and I wanted that for me as a person because it's what makes me happy. Or the fact that I can get on a snowboard and still be getting some form of athletic skills, you know, that I would use in the gym, but just on a board and putting my music on, and then that builds me to enjoy music and go out and dancing. So I am a person, and we build ourselves to be what we want to be, what we enjoy. So I think that's what I would think as a person, other than us as flesh that evolves into, you know, a more mature body than what you are. Because I mean, you start from this little and get about this big now. So your skin stretches, your bones grow, your face develops. That's you as a person. And then you carry traits with it. Yeah, that's what I think. Well, for me, which you're going to kind of find a little hard and confusing, because therefore I'm still in the female body. But mentally, when I define a man, or how I think about it, or how I approach it for myself, is the respect. The fact that when it comes to being a man, I open doors for women. I don't hit them. I want to give them everything that they deserve. I want to be the provider, you know what I mean? It's like me being strong too, to know that I can take on another man, is what helps me feel more superior, that I'm there. I am like a man, and that I can work long hours and do the things that a man does. But I don't look at myself as a man. I see myself more as a gentleman, because that takes aside of me for the qualities that I like to do different things. I mean, there's guys out there that are, crazy and aggressive and they don't care and all that stuff. But to me, that's like being a little boy. Like, kind of like you're going through puberty all over again, because you're not settling down. Like, you're not taking your steps into growing to mature and be better for yourself. That should be your barbaric side then, but you should be able to, protect your family as a man, because you are the one that's stronger, and you do bear all the stress, and you do take on a load of everything. I mean, the funny thing is, when you look at it, if you look at any family, and if you really think about your own family alone, who takes out the trash? Literally. I mean, think about it. Who takes out the trash? I don't know one female, unless she's alone, but in a family, it's either the guy that takes out the trash, because he is there to bury the burdens. I mean, yeah, a woman has the kids and everything, but to make me feel like a man is to provide. It's to be there to protect. It's, if someone came into my house, I'm going to make sure that I protect my family and take care of them and make sure that they're safe. Or if my kid is sick, I'm going to be there to make sure that my kid is provided the best health that he could possibly get, or she could possibly get. And I don't know. I like to be genuine. I find it's better to be like that, instead of, oh, I'm so hardcore. I don't see that as a man. I see that being barbaric. But a man is someone that actually is willing to take the full load and prepare for the power, and that's why I think they're stronger. So, strength is what makes me a man. I know this one off the bat. It's gonna be Travis Barker. I mean, that guy is a soldier. He's really kicked back. He's all about his family too. You can see it. Like, when you actually watch anything that he does. I mean, who plays the drums and puts actual headphones on his kids' ears to protect them? I've never even seen any other person do that. And if I'm not mistaken, the time that, the plane went right into the crash with him and DJM, and him surviving that and just overcoming it and still drumming his ass off, is just amazing. He keeps up with his appearance. He's the first one that basically came out and was like, I really don't give a fuck what you have to say, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to rock hard doing it. And I don't know, just when I met him, he's not cocky. Not when I met him. He's really chill and laid back. And I mean, if I had to say any ideal man, it would be that guy, because he just rocks it. He's good. This is tricky, because I've had to think about this a lot. There's a couple reasons, and here's another part where it plays why transgenders have a really hard time. This is gonna sound really cheesy, but I want to take testosterone, but I don't want to, because I want to be able to have a girl. I mean, be able to date a girl, because I've noticed it's like, every time I ever get in a relationship, I ask them, like, oh, how would you feel if I take testosterone? And they're like, well, I like girls. And as you can already tell, I mean, the appearance has already changed, and it's all natural, I'm not taking anything for it. But if I was to take testosterone, it would develop a way different, body. But then it comes to mind that if I was to take testosterone, then I'm going to have a lower part that's lacking that extra oomph. And then I'm not going to feel fully complete. So I'm kind of like in the mix of should I take it or should I not? And it's been in question for a while because I don't know if I could bear the surgery down there or pay for the surgery even at that, or what if a complication comes along and then I'm going to have nothing? It's just going to be completely, that's it, you know? So in order to change the appearance, I mean, I feel comfortable right now, but as time goes, it might differ as I get older. So I think I'm going to keep it all natural right now of what I'm doing, you know, no testosterone, no steroids, no nothing, and just see. Maybe by the time I'm 30 or something, it might be different, but right now, I mean, I'm doing okay. You know, it's annoying, that's for sure. It's still awkward because I don't get to see it much, but I mean, some people tell me, oh, I can still see it. From what I've been told, I think it's the emotions or intimate part being with a girl. Like, there's times where I can make it, you know, really romantic. I mean, come on now, what guy really makes it passionately romantic? I mean, you know, I mean, I guess some guys do, but that's like a 1 out of 10 kind of thing going on there. But for me, it's you know, the voice levels. I can tell, like, when I laugh, it's the voice. Probably even in this recording, it's gonna sound girly, but on the other end, without the recording, it's a little bit deeper. I don't know, it's kind of weird. You hear it in person, someone's like, oh, well, that's okay. That's not how you sound, but over the phone, it's more girly. Yeah, I would have to say it's the emotions, because I don't go in the mirror and go, oh my God, look at my face, oh God. I can't do any of that or worry about my nails or anything, just like what girls do. I mean, I'm still trying to understand girls, so I don't really know what a girl's trait would be, because I haven't really experienced it. Okay, you know what? Actually, let me think about this real quick, and this is true. When I see an animal, I do this weird, girly, like, obsession thing. That's one, and that is, like, probably the only thing, like, I see this cute little animal, and I'm just like, oh, look at the cute animal. Like, that's not, I don't know any guy that does that, so, yeah, that's my biggest hit of something I would still do as a girl. Well, okay, for me, like, I know that I consider myself a male, definitely, because whenever I joke around, it's like, I'm straight, I know it. I don't like men, and I only like women, so, I don't know, I guess when I think of, like, third gender, I don't know if it's, you know, it's weird, I've never really thought of that term, third gender. I don't know if I want to put myself in the outcast role of that. That seems kind of like outcast. I mean, like, I've always looked at myself as a male, but it's weird because I know a lot of transgenders that are going through their transitioning and they put male, like, you know, on their Facebook or something. I don't do that due to the fact that, like, you know, still got the functioning, you know, look of a girl. So it's kind of like a weird question, because I do see myself as straight because I do like women, you know, but I've never really thought of looking at myself as a third gender. But I mean, you probably would. I probably would see myself as a third gender if I was already taking testosterone, because I'm still like a half and half situation, you know. But like mentally, I see myself as a man. I don't know. That's an odd question. Like, male, third transgender, male, female. Cause I don't consider myself as a female. I mean, never have. So I guess that just ranges from different people. I've always thought myself as a male. I don't know. I don't put it on there due to the fact, I think, because of the way that society sees it, you know, and I know that, like, the fact that there's not a full functioning penis. I can't put male. So it's kind of a tricky thing, you know what I mean? Like, I know what I am, I know what I'm comfortable with, and I guess from the way that my mom was is like, okay, like on Facebook, I don't put male due to the fact that I'm not fully developed as a full-fledged male. So therefore, I'd feel like I'd be lying to other people, because I mean, what if there's I look like the appearance of outside as a guy. But say some girl sees my profile or something and she's straight, you know, and she reads that it's male, it's kind of like me still lying, you know, in a way, because she's going to want to get to know me in that type of form, but it's not. But, you know, I just keep the female on there, and then when people ask me the question, you know, I'm like, I see myself as male because I think and react like one, so I kind of have a different variation of what other people look at it than what I do. Because I know other people would answer it completely different, but for me it's, yeah, I mean, I look at myself as a male. I don't see myself as a female. I might have to put that on some type of profiles, or like my driver's license, due to the fact of society. So, yeah, I don't know, I've never looked at the third gender. I don't know. I might one day. I don't know. Because I think just growing up, you know, like I'm used to the fact of man and woman. That's what we're bred to, you know, think as. So I've never really adapted into that third gender. Because I mean, all this stuff with gender and everything is still coming up. Like, I don't know why people, there's so many genders that I know that put male, and they're just like, oh, I want to be so hardcore. It's like, well, if you're male, you just know. You don't need someone else to know. It doesn't have to be put out there. You just know, and you can tell them. So I'm a male. That's why. I feel like the black person on the back of the bus. That's how I feel nowadays. And that's even in the gay community, because either lesbian doesn't want me, bisexual isn't going to stay with me because I don't have the full flesh pump, and I can only relate to pansexuals, which, I don't know, you gotta remember, it's a gay, lesbian, transgender, and bisexual community. Some of them still don't even understand fully what transgender is. It's weird, because they think like transgender is just, oh, you dress in different clothes, but to me, transgender is completely different. It's actually having both, like, motor skills of a man and a woman, and trying to identify what they are, you know? But it's still touchy. You don't hear about it. I mean, you could watch The L Word. There was one person that name was Max that was coming out, and that's, I think, the first time I ever even heard of transgender. So I haven't seen anything else, even on logo, to know what the transgender is. So I mean, I think it's fresh. It's just now coming out. Even you know, seeing all these younger kids and stuff that are going through their transitioning and everything. I mean, I don't know if they just did it because they felt it was the new thing or whatnot, or they actually want to do it because they know inside mentally that that's who they are and that's where they sit. Because I think, like, why people haven't really figured it out is because when you're a transgender, you kind of have this evolving of what side you're going to pick. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard, because even as a transgender, it's weird that, like, you have the girl thought and the guy thought, but it's like that girl thought falls off. And it's in the beginning. It has to be in the beginning, because it was for me. And I've never seen the gay, lesbian, bisexual community, even when I went to the Gay and Lesbian Center. It was kind of fresh. I saw, you know, signs everywhere for them, but where was it for me? I mean, I didn't see some girl with a beard going, hey, it's growing. You know what I mean? It just wasn't, I didn't see anything like that. But I've seen some people here and there, but it's kind of just now starting, it seems like. People are now actually like, okay, the girl side has fallen off. I know that's what it is. They're actually evolving into what really is them. So that's what I think. It's still fresh. Still new. Not really discovered yet. You know, this one's gonna be touchy, and when if you are transgender and you're going through this, what I advise is, if you're young, I mean young, because you can't just say, oh, I'm transgender at 7. You don't even know what you're going through yet. You don't even know what is possible. You could be at that age and say that you like that type of girl, but then turn around and actually like men, because it's a phase. I think you should actually wait until you're about 18, you know, to actually sit down and think to yourself. And because the transgender, it's a fall off. It is a fall off. You'll notice it, because there's so many different ways that you can go, and you'll start feeling more comfortable with yourself of who you are. You know, perfect thing. You could be a girl, tomboy, you know, confused, like you're wearing the boy clothes, you feel comfortable in them, but guys are still catching your eye. The boys are still getting your attention. That's not transgender. That's just you being a girl and enjoying wearing clothes. You know, there's just a label of it being a boy clothes, but it's just clothes, so don't worry about that. But if you are transgender and you're depressed, if you feel that slight of depression and you're not comfortable, but when you wear this or whatever is supposed to be in the guy realm or whatever, or like you're kicking with your guys and you know that you feel more comfortable with just hanging with them, and you're not looking at them in that form, and you're just constantly, your hormones are raging for a girl. Because see, I go through a hormone stage. I'm a pervert. Like, I like my women. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it. It's like sex is on my mind 24/7. You know, I'm thinking about the most craziest things. I don't even think girls would be like, ew, that's gross. But that's just me. You know, I'm like that. And when you start identifying the traits, the steps to where what a girl normally thinks or acts like to what a guy normally thinks or acts like, that's where I see the separation, because girls do think differently and guys do think differently. But when you start pointing out the differences and ask people, don't be afraid, ask girls what they're thinking. If your thinking pattern isn't the same as theirs, then you should know. And when you get the same or different responses from guys, you know, and you're feeling more of that level, that's when you should start knowing what you are. You'll figure it out. But I think you should take the steps of doing it. You should be aware of it. The first thing of knowing is when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel a change, be aware of it. Research it. Look it up. Study it. You know, you can't just get the answers within yourself. It's better to get it in your surroundings, because without that, then you're gonna go based off of what you are, and then you're just gonna be confused, and you don't want to be confused. You want to know what it is. I had to struggle with it. You know, it wasn't new. I mean, it was new back then. It's not new now. It's completely different. It's like you're born right now, it's gonna be there. Back then, when I was born, it wasn't there. I mean, Ellen, she had a show. Ellen DeGeneres had her first, it was a sitcom. It wasn't even the actual Ellen DeGeneres TV show. It was a sitcom. And at the very end, she came out. And that's when, like, boom, there's lesbians and gay people. It was just like, it was kind of a shock. And around that time, I was about, like, you know, 12 years old. So 13 rolls around, I'm like, hey, hey, now someone's out, I could be out, and then Rosie O'Donnell's coming out, and who knows next? I mean, freaking Obama if you wanted to, I don't know, but, I mean, I know you wouldn't because it's not like that, but you have to read the steps, and it is a step process because you're going to change as you get older. It's not just bam right now. You're not just bam, just take it right now. It's not going to be like that because you have to grow up and you got to change. And there are different levels in life. I mean, God, I changed when I was 13 and hit puberty. I changed when I turned 16. I changed when I turned 18. I think that's why this world has put like these certain limits of like, oh, this certain type of birthday is because you start having an epiphany. When I hit freaking 21, I had an epiphany. When I hit 24, I had an even bigger epiphany. And then when I turned 26, I'm like, oh, holy hell, I'm getting old. Now I'm really having an epiphany of what's going on. But out of all these years, I've been able to experience and take my time. See, I know people right now that are just like, this is what I want, I'm doing it. How do you know that's what you want? You just came out a month ago. You don't know. You really got to find within yourself. It's more of don't knock it till you try it. Okay? That's my biggest thing is I was not into guys. And my mom told me, try it. I did. You know what I felt like? A gay guy. I felt like I was with another man. Me being a man with another man wasn't for me. Tried it, didn't work, not happening. Tried it again. Because, you get all these people saying, oh, well, maybe this or that, or it wasn't the right one. No. It's not changing. It's the same feeling, same emotion, same energy, all that. They're just good as friends for me. And that's where I'm telling you things fall off because you have to experience it in order to feel it, understand it, and cope with it. So don't just do it right away because I'm not sitting here trying to put it in your head that you're transgender. You have to know if you are or not. You have to walk into it. It's kind of like you being an alcoholic, taking your 12-step program to come out of it. You know what I mean? You can't just say you are. You have to do it to find out if you are. Do not deny it. First thing, this is going to be between me and you as a parent. You're watching this right now. I'm your kid, okay? As you have heard my message, it's the suffering. You are allowing your kid to suffer for your needs, for what you feel is wrong. That's not right. If you love your kids unconditionally, my mom voted against me. My mom voted against gay marriage. It was the most hurtful thing because when I look at it, and I'm going to explain this to you, I want to be able to marry someone. If we have kids together, adoption, however, if my kid is in the hospital and I can't be there, and my significant other runs to our kid's aid, you know what happens? They cannot legally do anything about it except watch our kid die. And if you love your children, you're going to take the steps, and this is going to be hard. You might want to sit in your room and wallow for a minute because it's not what you're used to. It's not what, you want your kids to be straight. Yeah, okay, I get it. I totally understand. That's the way that you see society, but that's not society. We are all different. And if you love your kids, then treat them like your kid. And if you don't, you might as well have gave them up for adoption or not have them because they're going to be who they are. And if you want to help them and you want to see them happy and proceed to have the best life possible with no stress, no drama, no anger, no nothing, you're going to be there for them. So if you see these signs, of the clothes or what they play with, I mean, God, it could even come down to what they say, or how they interact with other kids. You know, we don't watch these things because we don't care to take notice, because we're going to think that our kids are going to become completely straight. That it's going to be boy and girl, they go to school, they get married, they have kids and raise their kids and then die. We're not in the 50s anymore. And hell, it was just private in the 50s back then. It's the new age. This is what's happening. And I'm finally one to come out and speak, because I don't want to see your kid die of suicide due to depression. I don't want to see your kid become a porn star because their sexual frustration was so built up from hiding who they were. And this happens. This happens on a daily basis. I talk to people about things in their life that you couldn't even imagine. So please, as a parent, if you are sitting here watching this, I want you to take real deep thought, and I want you to understand that it is possible. Anything is possible. It is possible for you to get in a car accident and lose your arm the next day. Is that by choice? No. It's going to happen. And if you do love them, you're going to want the best for them. So, in advice, now that we've gotten past the fact that you're going to accept it, which I hope you do, and I'm being sincere, I went through hard struggles, so I hope you do, because I never want to see another person struggle like that. I want you to be able to research it. I want you to be able to give them the choice to see where their life takes them. That is not telling you to go let them do drugs. That is not telling you to let them go drink. That is not telling you to let them go party. I'm talking about them. If you want them to wait till they're 18 to be a woman and, you know, finally have sexual intercourse with women, or like your son that's either, you know, gay and he's gonna, you know, have sexual intercourse with another kid, yeah, I would think wait till they're 18, because the problem is what happens is we don't have guidance. I didn't have the guidance. So I went through sexual relationships at a young age to try to figure out what's going on for me, and school didn't become important. Your kid's education is important. Your family's health is what's important. Functions, gatherings. You don't want to isolate your child, because if you isolate your child, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get someone like me, someone off the streets, someone that didn't care, someone that was depressed, someone that didn't even go through their college education, who struggles, who can't get a job. You don't want to put your kids through that. You want them to succeed. So if you're stripping them of everything that who they are, how are they going to succeed at anything in life? Wouldn't you like to be old, and even if it is a man or a woman, you see your daughter, college degree, master's, house, perfect family, unconditional love. Did your kid fail? I don't think so. I think your kid lived a pretty normal and healthy life. Just because it's with another woman or a man, that doesn't really matter. I don't know where everyone gets this idea that when we die, a floating penis is attached to your soul or a vagina. Why are we so wrapped up into man and woman? What just happened to love? What happened to just being happy and positive? Because the more that you ignore it, the more negative is what your kid is going to have the rest of his life. And that's pure negative. Hookers, strippers, struggling, bad juju, DUIs, all this bad stuff because you couldn't accept them for being happy. You wanted them negative. And that's not fair. So please take the time to research it and acknowledge that this is real. This is real life. And things change. And I don't expect your kids to go out there and sleep with multiple people. I don't expect your kids to go do drugs or drink or anything. I'm just trying to give you a message that you should raise your kids with guidance, respect, love, and do it right.